This discussion is on building boards, and why on earth is the topic of building boards part of design-inspired thinking? Well, honestly, it's a bit of a challenge to you as a community, which is, you know, board building tends to get very overlooked, particularly today, particularly with young founders today, because they actually don't feel as though they have any value for any boards. And I would warrant that that's actually a mistake. That I really feel very strongly that for you as entrepreneurs or for you as board members, being an active, involved, focused board member is the way to really help drive the business and truly be highly impactful. And why is it so overlooked? I think that honestly, we tend to take a very lazy approach to board building. And it's okay until the company gets into trouble. And let's recognize that the role of the board, really the only role of the board, is to hire and fire a CEO. So for you as an entrepreneur or for you as a board member, take that responsibility really, really seriously. The other thing is a board, like any part of an organization, is an evolving organization. It has its own culture. It has its own chemistry. And that, by the way, may be very different from part of the organization. But again, for you as a CEO, for you as a leader, it really is a responsibility to lead and manage that board. So as we talk about boards, what do many great boards do? Well, let's start by the fact that most great boards are actually the quietest boards because they are working so well and so effectively together. But what I love as I think about great boards, and you can see some of these bullet points, they really do work individually and collectively to think about what unique value they can add to an organization. And for you as a leader, really making sure that you bring that to the table is critical. They work together as a great team, and one of the best examples of that I can see is Google. Google has had a great board from day one. Larry and Sergey spent a lot of time in the early days really thinking about how to get to the level of intellectual and experiential excellence, and they have continued to evolve that over the last 12 years. Amazon would be another example of that. Make no mistake, Jeff Bezos runs that board very, very tightly. But at the same time, he holds himself and his board members accountable to some incredible standards. And obviously, I think that's demonstrated in the performance. Taking a long and short-term view of the business. This is really interesting. I had a chance when I was in London 6 months ago to witness an interview that Al Gore did of Johnny Ive. Now, my only claim to fame, other than working with John Maeda and my other incredible partners, is I went to college with Johnny. So we have a lot of history together. And it was interesting afterwards. I said to him, you and Al have some incredible trust. Where did that come from? And he said, it came from the fact that I had to present to him so many times, and he would always push me, whoops, as I go through the floor, on time frames and deliverables. And I kept saying to him, Al, it takes 7 years to make a product. Be patient. And Al gave him patience. So that balance of the short and long-term view, I think as a board member, is really, really important. Holding the board and the CEO accountable. Every excellent board really, really focuses on that. And supporting the CEO and the management team is important to do that too. I want to jump down to the last one. It's a pet project of mine. Diversity of thought, background, and perspectives. In Silicon Valley, we have a horrible statistic. 9% of our companies have female board members on it. So for you as entrepreneurs, please think about gender diversity, particularly given that most of you, if you're in consumer-facing companies, are selling to women. It's really something very, very important that we don't really focus on.